This is my slideshow about Korea and the early Middle Ages by John Paul Merkel, which is me, obviously. A long time ago, in the early Middle Ages, things were very different than they are today. Electricity had not been discovered, plumbing had not been invented, and America didn't even exist. This slideshow is all about Korea during these times. Like the rest of the world, Korea was very different than it is today. As you can see, I have a map of North and South Korea and their capital. And the big red dots are their capitals. I chose Korea for my project because I was interested about ancient Asia, so I decided I would do Korea for my project. The three states. Back when Korea was first established, there were three states in it. They were known as Goguryeo, Baekje, and Sia. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing those right. So you can see Goguryeo, Baekje, and Sia. There was also Gaya, as you can see here, but it was not powerful enough to become an official state. Also, Tamna was its own thing, and Wa was Japan before it was called Japan. The three states did not commonly have peace, but rather they fought amongst each other a lot. Because of this, Gaya was quickly taken over by Sia, which soon after conquered Baekje and some of Goguryeo. So Sia took all the way up to here, and then they conquered right around up to here, and eventually spread up to here, which became what Korea is known as today. All of this led to Sia becoming Korea and Goguryeo being kicked out. So it was like its own little thing for a little bit. Ancient Korean culture and religion. For a long time, Korea was only Confucianist, but in the 4th century, Buddhism was introduced. This introduced new cultures. They made pottery that was mostly red and black, as you can see here, which is still done today. Buddhism introduced Goguryeo tomb murals, as you can see here, and most paintings were very flowery, with many bright colors such as pink, red, and yellow, like right here. And here we have just a slide of just lots of art. We have, this was like a symbol of night and day, probably a yin-yang thing. Those were the two Confucianist gods. We have some more pottery, more paintings, more pottery, statues, stone carvings, paintings, all that stuff. Wars fought by Korea. Many wars have been fought by and in Korea. One of these was the Battle of Linyuguan. This war was fought between Goguryeo and China. The monarch of Goguryeo at the time, Yongying, challenged by the emperor of a part of China, Yang, to show off his empire. That made him mad, and so he sent troops to attack Yang. Eventually Goguryeo won, with a section of China retreating. Another war was the Battle of Baekje. It was fought by the Baekje and Japan against Sia. Baekje wanted back the land Sia was taking from them, so they got help from Japan and went and attacked Sia. Eventually, Sia won, driving Japanese forces back and preventing Baekje from taking back its land. Yet another one of these wars was fought between Baekje and Sia again. This was Baekje's final resistance to Sia taking over. Baekje was so desperate, they sent in all the troops they could, but they still failed to prevent Sia from taking over. These are only 3 of the many wars Korea has fought both between itself and other nations. Ancient Korean weapons. Ancient Korean weapons mostly consisted of spears. A jingchan is a 5-foot-long spear made of soft wood, so like your standard spear. A keychain is a 9-foot spear with a 9-foot blade. So it was super long spear and super long blade. A dangpa was a kind of trident, usually 7 to 18 feet long. A ningsun is a spear with 9 to 11 metal-tipped branches extending out. And finally, a katana was a long sword with a curved blade, as you can see here. Those were not originally Korean, but they were heavily used in Korean. I believe they were originally Chinese. How my project better helped me to understand the Middle Ages. This project helped me to better understand the Middle Ages because it helped me understand more what it was like in places far away from Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. I was interested in Korea, and this helped me learn more about it in ancient times. In conclusion, in the early Middle Ages, Korea was one country. It did not have Christianity yet, and it still used ancient weapons. In conclusion, Korea was very different a long time ago, as was the rest of the world. And then I have a bunch of stuff from the other slides. slides. Like you have this map of modern Korea, you have these again, the pottery, the katana, some paintings, and some of the wars. I hope you enjoyed my slideshow, and yeah, that is the end of my slideshow.